My name is Soren Baker, and today we have the honor and privilege of being joined by Fiend on Unique Access. Fiend, thanks for coming through, sir.
Hey, what's up with it? What's up with the world? My name is Fiend International Jones, and I'm tuned in right now. My main man, Soren Baker.
Yes, yes. Well, thanks again for coming through, man. And we got so much we got to talk to. I know we're going to have to do a part 2, but let's start off with, I want to go through your whole history, but you do have the brand new song, The Revolution, No Justice, No Peace, that just came out, which I think is a phenomenal record. And I think the people that know you and follow you, regardless of how much they follow you, that may be a bit of a surprising record to you.
Right. That's powerful joint. Happy to send it to you. When I saw you say good time, and I was like, bro? I was like, you're right. It is that time, right?
Absolutely. So with making the record, what made you want to open it up with the speech like that?
I heard the beat. And it had hair standing up on my arm, man. I was like, time to pick up a gun. Revolution has come. And I know blatantly it sounds like what it says, but it also speaks volume and metaphors, you know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, it's time to just kind of snap out of the nonsense, you know what I mean? And the record, I recorded the joint, and a lot of the Ferguson thing was happening at the time. And the Eric Garner thing had happened. And I remember Will Smith had quoted that, it isn't that all this stuff is new, it's just that people are just starting to film it. And I was like, you're right, that speaks volume. So I ended up going in and recording the joint and wanted to come at the song from a perspective of somebody that still loves hip hop, somebody that if I didn't hear hip hop before, this is my first time hearing it. The lyrics are easy to make out, and I could process what this person is saying. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like why I went. And one thing I love about music, man, it travels.
Right.
It travels, and it connects people. Like what I consider my 3 universal languages: food, love, and music.
Those are 3 powerful ones right there.
3 real powerful ones, you're so right.
And they do travel the world, international, like you said.
Man, they do. It joins all kind of people from all types of walks of life. And no matter where I've been in the world and in the country, I will find myself looking somewhere, and you join eyes with a complete stranger, and either the food make you look at each other because y'all just bit into y'all meal, right? Or it's a song, and you're like, both it hits y'all at the same time, right? Or what is love, and it joins people. And yeah, that's where I just was at. And the song, like, to get back to the song, it just resonated to me. Revolution. Everyone needs revolution. When I first got into hip hop, I looked at it like as us kids was rebellious, to our what they call it's gonna come to me, the establishment.
Right.
Which was our households, moms, dads, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So it was just time to express that type of song, I think,
And unfortunately, too, as you mentioned in the song, like you said, it's been happening, and we both know that this has been happening for decades, for centuries. And something that you address in the song is that it could have been me. And I think the problem is that this has been going on since slavery started, since Black people were brought to the country. This is not a new phenomenon. And unfortunately, it's timely as ever. We've seen, whether it's through, the last poets and Gil Scott-Heron talking about this stuff musically,
right?
Whether it's a Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye talking about it musically,
right?
Up to today and up to your Revolution, No Justice, No Peace song, it's still sadly relevant. So how, how do you find that you're able to have these conversations with your son, for instance, knowing that it could be you, or that it's people you know, or people you're around?
You know what, Soren, there's so many layers to being a loving person that can either hinder you or it can help you. And explaining to my son that, for one, we didn't even ask to be born in the skin that we're in. No soul, spirit, or individual asks to be born in the skin that they're in. You learn to love yourself if you have that at home. A lot of people don't have that at home. I just talked to him, explained to him that you're 8 now, and that where we are in the United States, no matter in the world, there's going to be something that is designed out there that it will make a person dislike another person because of something. You know, whether your hair is long, whether your hair is short, whether whether you're light skin, dark skin, tall, short, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he gets a lot of that. He don't know why. I explained to him that hate is taught. You know what I'm saying? You could dislike some things, but to genuinely hate something, to be raised off of hate, is a whole nother type of energy that you could put to all kinds of use and build that fuel to do other things. My thing is, the biggest lesson is to be alive, to continue to give him lessons and examples, and hopefully not to be eradicated, or taken out of his life, to have to learn some things on his own. There's too many layers, they had people here way in the United States, way before the thought of someone being brought over on ships or whatever the case may be. And it's just too many layers, man. It's too many layers. It should be, the human race should be the race we are concerned with, but it's 2020. Everyone has access to the internet. It's too much. It's too much. And if you're used to doing something because you're blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your skin's blue and you're used to just walking, in a shopping store, not having to pay for nothing. By the time you get to the register, like, oh, you're blue. Oh, you're charging. How dare you spend your money here? You know what I'm saying? You could get used to that. And if you're used to that for 200 years, 400 years, 1,000 years, that also could become some type of a mental epidemic, to be told that you don't have this luxury anymore.
Right.
So there's all different type of systemic types of stuff people are having to deal with. Whatever color of skin that you're in, there are going to be so many different layers of conversation. But if the conversation do start, I think that is the biggest part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we want to live, we want to be happy, healthy, and enjoy, make new memories, make new money, and so be it. But it's just too many layers, man. I think it's just too many layers of people being segregated away from love. You know what I'm saying? And I think, yeah.
And I think it's powerful you're saying that, because one of the other things, I got a 10-year-old daughter too, and her mom is Black. So I have to, it's hard for me. I just remember I was having to explain to her when she was 6, I know you haven't seen this probably, and it's just weird, because she was just like, why would somebody think of you like that because of your skin color is different? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, how's my daughter 6 and already understand that? And yet this has been going on since the beginning of time.
Right.
But in the Revolution song, the thing that I also thought was great was the education is key, because we have obviously systematic problems with our educational system, but the bottom line is being aware, being intelligent, knowledge of self, all these different things are so important. So in the midst of the song and the content, why was it important for you to put in there that education is key?
I think education is key is because to be in the skin, let's just say just from one perspective, to be in the skin that I'm in, to be a large male, it could be overbearing. It could be threatening. You know, it could be threatening to some. So dialect, you know, conversation, to being able to converse correctly may sometimes be able to diffuse some things. You know, most people encounter of a large black male is they may think ignorance and that they want to be violent. You know, I know that sounds kind of Stone Age-ish, but it's still kind of like of a small reality somewhere. So I feel education, in other words, we can have an educated conversation. We can have a intelligent conversation and disagree about some things. And that should be how most dialogue should happen. I think education is key. If you knew who you were and you knew your value, you wouldn't put the validation in someone else's hands. And that takes a lot of time of enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, wanting to be in a relationship. Okay, it's like wanting to be in a relationship with America and you're like, you know, like, hey, look, I washed the car. And if America was a girl, she was like, oh yeah, cool, all right, whatever, you know. Nah, I put these new armor all on it. It gets the tires extra wet for a year. You don't gotta. And she's like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, I cooked dinner for you. It's your favorite meal. Yeah, all right, I'm not even hungry. You know, it's like that. We keep looking for these type of validation from America, and I don't like to look at America as a color. I look at everybody's different. I know some of this conversation is gonna seem kind of true. I don't want to look at America as far as a kind of a color. I want to look at America as a good versus bad something. You know what I'm saying? Because I explained to my children, there are good white people like there are bad black people, you know, and you can put feeling any color, ethnicity in there, whatever you choose to do it. I say, if you start thinking more good versus bad, you kind of start getting how to walk with love. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's going on. I think education is key because we'll stop trying to depend on someone to do right by me when I could do right by myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just start from there. And if I give you a great example of how I treat myself, then another person will know how to treat me. Now, I've used that in music for the longest, but never thought about it as a citizen or a human being. You know what I mean?
Right.
I use in music forever, but I haven't until just now talking to you seen it as clear as day. How I treat myself, maybe that's how they'll treat me. You know what I mean? If I approach something with an educational outlook, educated outlook, and assess things properly, maybe that could reciprocate from someone instead of saying, "Oh, I thought you were Neanderthal. I thought you wanted blood." You know what I'm saying? I thought you were gonna eat us. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are so caught in the Stone Age. I'm in Louisiana. I'm in a red state. I call it the khaki pants state. You know what I'm saying? Like, much as I love khakis, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It is what it is. And I think education is key. Only an ignorant person walks into a house full of fire with a bucket full of fire trying to pull out a fire.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And like on top of that, you got to know what you're walking into at the same time.
You got to assess things, and you got to be more in tune with yourself and not scared to educate yourself.
Right.
You got to educate yourself, man. Like, that's what I used to love so much about Kanye West. His persona seemed to be almost like, even though it was the college dropout, but it was more the preppy college kid that had so much to say, that nuanced something, a voice that you couldn't help but enjoy. This is your cousin that came over with the 2 shirts with the collars up, that he was a little bougie, but you just loved him anyway. He just so cool. And when he spoke from a non-smothered by Jim Crow law type of, you know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love that new fresh air of perspective, of encouragement to make it in America. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Education is key, man. I think kids gonna have to educate themselves because a lot of things are not gonna be available to them, and they're not gonna learn as so far as hands-on experience.
Right.
It's gonna be like you're gonna have to read.
Yeah, man. Well, like Malcolm X said, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. So that's the key, man. You gotta expand your sources of information, and it's not always going to be where you think. You know.
It's not always gonna be blatantly right in your face. You have to research and do some searching. You know.
The thing about Revolution that's so remarkable, I first was familiar with you with Won't Be Denied back in '95. So
Right.
the fact that that's what 25 years now that you've been putting out music on a regular basis, and I would say of all the people since '95, you probably have as much, if not more, than almost anyone as far as volume.
Right.
Think about it though.
It's crazy you should say that, right? First of all, I'm honored to even still be here and to still be a hip hop baby. I pride myself with that. Oh my God, I pride myself off of that, bro. Like, you feel me? I grew up 4 houses from where bounce music was invented, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a promoter who owned a bar room that was 4 houses from me on the corner of my block. And he was the biggest concert promoter as far as rap music in the state, right?
Okay.
I met Run-DMC personally as a kid. I got Fear of a Black Planet reached to me from Chuck D and Flavor Flav personally on
Wow.
cassette. You feel me? The Cash Money click. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I am a hip hop baby, and hip hop has saved my life numerous amounts of times. And through hip hop, I have been able to save lives myself. And for the fact that you mentioned that as far as the music, I honestly thought about that the other day. And that's not counting the ghostwriting and stuff. But I'm honored, like, you feel me, to still be here. Tupac not here and was known for all that music. I'm still here, you know what I mean? Like, and have catalogs, just catalogs. And I'm hoping that some of it, some people catch up on some of the more new stuff and then help them out as well too.
Well, that's why I wanted to start with Revolution before we got to everything else, because we got 25 plus years, man, to go through. That's why I said we got to be doing this in more than one part, because it's too much for one to ask you. But
I agree.
With Won't Be Denied, the thing that always struck me initially before I even heard it was the album cover. So what was going on to where you were in a pipe, you know?
My outlook was hit this.
Right.
Hit this. Just hit this. Here's that new dope. Here's that new crack. Hit this. You know what I'm saying? You got this kid in the crack pipe. His name is Fiend. You know, metaphorically, it was just hit this. If that was the conversation, man, let me hit that bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then you got that guy, oh, let me hit that shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember my dad did a commercial for me, a skit on my project. And he said, yeah, man, I heard niggas got some dope around the corner so good it's killing niggas. He like, yeah, where is that? You know what I'm saying? So that was that whole the look on that. Like, this dope will not be denied. This dope artist or this new crack, this new vice will not be denied. And that was my start.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And tied into that, I did think it was funny, weird, whatever, in the sense that the person that took the pipe, so it was just their skeleton. So why kill him with it?
Well, yeah, broke up. Wait, what did you say?
No, I said, but the person on the cover that is implied that they took the hit, their skeleton. So you killed them though.
Killed them. They so automatically just snatched all their body from them. You heard me? That was the pen and pixel. That was Sean just going a bit far. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sean, a pen and pixel graphics guys back in the day. Yeah, dope was so hard it was killing people out here, bro.
So I remember, speaking of being where bounce was invented and everything, I remember, because it leads up to the Big Boy, the record company and stuff, because you guys had with Mystical, with Precise, I mean, it was like a nice little camp that you had there. But before that, other than like Jubilee and bounce stuff, the first real rapper I remember was Bust Down. So,
Right.
but he's from Marrero. So with did you notice Bust Down and what he did, since that wasn't like bounce per se? Did that seem to make a
You
difference?
know what? Buzz Down was a breath of fresh air too. He really was a breath of fresh air with the Put Your Bally's on, and what it was,
Yeah, Nasty Bitch.
pop that thing,
Right.
Put Your Bally's on.
He had a
You
bunch
got,
of records. And he
and
was
what else?
and he was signed to Luke too.
He was signed to Luke. I got some stories I can tell you about that. Oh my God. Some of these may not be able to make it on camera. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I've been to a few. I've been to Luke parties myself, so I know.
Okay, we're gonna have to build on a couple of those stories, my brother. Buzz Down was not necessarily doing bounce, but what made Buzz Down so big in life, he was talking to the everyday cat that was hustling on the street that wanted something, or to the everyday guy and girl that wanted that was their life. Put my bally's on. That was like putting on a uniform. If you was going anywhere, if you wanted to feel like something, you will pull on bally's. You know what I mean? Put your bally's on, pop that thing. You guys to pop that thing. Buzz Down was killing it. And it had some dude in the background, Buzz Down, doing some type of too big MC, ad-lib backup guy like for Hammer in the background. Buzz Down was bigger than life at home. You know what I'm saying? He had like Nasty Bitch, and he just had these records, bro. He was his own something. He was not a bounce artist, but they had an era that him, Mia X, MC Thick, Tim Smooth, Most Wanted Posse, they had an era of guys that it wasn't bounce, but we just enjoyed them for being whatever rap was then. I don't know, if what they did was considered to be a certain type of, I don't know what they called that other than hip hop or what, but we praised that. We uplifted that. That was big in the life to us. You know what I'm saying? Those people I just named, that was the fucking absolute shit. You hear me? Buzz Down, Tim Smooth, Mia X, MC Thick, and Joe Black.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm from Maryland, so for us, or me especially, when I listen to rap, I just liked it, or I didn't. So to me, I understood this dude was a little more pop. This dude rapped about girls. This dude was more street. But I never looked at it like, kind of like we were saying with color. We either thought it was good or it wasn't good. It really wasn't like a style and that's why when I heard Bust Down and Jubilee and other records that were early from New Orleans, I either liked them or I didn't, but I didn't look at them different because they were from New Orleans. I was just like,
it was rap.
Yeah, I just like it.
Rap. Yeah, I feel you the same way. We also had bounce artists to when we just looked at it like this. Either, oh, that's a bounce artist. Pimp Daddy, that's bounce. Everless the Hitman, he rap, but he's like gangster bounce, so that's bounce. If it was those people we just named, it was like, oh, they rap. You know what I'm saying? But that's crazy. Shout out to Maryland, man. That DMV is something serious.
It is.
Serious. One of my biggest markets to this day. Oh my God, man. Maryland, man, you guys are off the chain, brother.
Yes, sir. But one of the things I thought was interesting about Won't Be Denied was, probably the first song I heard was The Baddest Motherfucker Alive. So with that was a really big statement to come to me as a quote unquote unknown artist, that's your first song.
Single.
Yeah. So what gave you the mindset and the confidence to make that, like, that's how I'm coming in the game?
You know what? You know, just to be transparent, how you said it, I didn't even though I did it and recorded it, I didn't look at it like that's what I said. Just to be honest with you. You know, now listening to the title of it, it's saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? This first day in, I'm the best that ever lived. You know what I'm saying? I was on the wall. Precise was putting the track together for Sporty T. And I'm a fly on the wall, just in a session. And I just heard the bass line, do boo to boo, the boo do boo to boo to do. And I just went to mumbling some shit, man. The producer looked at me and said, "Man, what you said over there?" I said, "I'm the baddest motherfucker alive." He like, "Man, hey man, you go in the booth and say that." And I went in the booth. He called Sporty and said, "Sporty, you know I'm in here producing a track for you right now, but would you mind if I make you something else? I'm messing around that beat." He said, "No problem." I did the song. Man, shot a little commercial. It was on the box TV. You heard me? Everywhere. And it was it. I never got any backlash from, "Oh, who this person thinks he's the baddest motherfucker alive."
Well,
Crazy.
it was only funny when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, but in rap, as you know, I mean, people come out with songs like that a lot of time, and it seems very odd. Sometimes that seems to bother people, other times it really doesn't. So
Right.
I was curious, like, when LL said, "I'm the baddest rapper in the history of rap" itself, people were mad, but it's like, I thought this was about boasting and believing you're the best. Why would he say?
You're right. I don't know, bro. I was talking some street shit in my song, and the chorus, "I'm selling the best motherfucker alive," and the response was, "That's what they told me." And maybe that's was I didn't feel like it was just me. Even just to be real with you, even when I did it, I wasn't on no cocky LL, like, you know what I'm saying? I just was, you know, I used to hear the shit and I just ran it. But maybe it was with some angels on my shoulder talking about, "Come on, little bad motherfucker, you gonna be something one day." You heard me?
Well, also on the album too, I like to get it on track, especially because I remember I always thought it was good, interesting, whatever, like when people from different regions would shout out different things and how you shouted out Cream, you know, kind of referring to Wu-Tang.
Right.
So that was something that I always liked about that song, just in the sense that, you know, they weren't from New Orleans. So
Right.
for you, what was the importance of acknowledging or shouting that out in a song like that?
I'm a hip hop. I consider myself a hip hop baby, hip hop kid, and to me, I think it's smart to touch on everything in real time if your music can come out in real time. You hear me? So I was listening to Wu-Tang. Excuse me. I was listening to. I came up off of Steady B, Eric B and Rakim, 3 Times Dope. You know what I mean? All these dope MCs, man. Stessa Sonic, if I ain't said them, you know, all kind of people. So that vibe, that's what kind of took me there. You know what I mean? So I had to shout out the Cream on the Wu-Tang. I thought that was a dope comparison to money for them to be using. Like, you know, as a kid, I was blown away. Cash, everything was around me. Cream, get the money. I was like, wow, right? So that made me kind of like tap in right there, saying that if anybody heard my music from whatever coast, wherever they are, they'll know that this kid is up on up-to-date events of music of what's happening and who's popping, that got some underground feel, you know?
Right. And then the other thing on Get It On that I really liked too was, as you've done throughout your career, but really looking at how moving or selling drugs or whatever helped you, but it was like the smoking hose got your life good. So you're looking at the reality of what was going on, how it was helping you and hurting them. So how did you early on in the game realize or have that insider perspective coming right out the gate to where you were looking at kind of multiple sides of the same situation?
There is never one side of a story. You know what I mean? There's multiple sides of a story. And growing up in Holly Grove, seeing what hard drugs did people, whether we sold it to them, whether they got it from somewhere else, it's a reality. And I always thought that great MCs was going to put all perspectives out there if they could. You know, my song shouldn't have me in a John Woo picture as being the next Ip Man come out. You know what I'm saying? All my moves are untouchable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that that's a good thing I still love about rap music. I'm gonna talk about all aspects of it. Some good days, there gonna be some bad ones, and be some broke days. There gonna be some up money up days. But it just was what it was, man. You know, serving your family relatives, watching your family relatives buy from your cousins and shit like that. You know, knowing that we shouldn't be doing it. I think like I was just more as far as a harsh reality, and just so happened that a gang of people dug the music. You know what I'm saying, and became supporters of me so I could have a career of it. But that's how I saw it when I heard a Rakim run rap. So when I heard Run-DMC, they gave all aspects. Public Enemy, Chuck D, they gave all aspects. And I just inherited from great MCs before me, you know, to stick to that kind of blueprint of a plan and like that song, you know.
And one I knew from later was, you know, obviously Scarface is one of the best at doing that. And then somebody I don't think gets a lot of credit of it, but that does it well is Project Pat as well. Like, he'll show you the downside of the game in a hurry. And
Right.
especially, you know, those guys being from the South as well, I think it's important to highlight, showcase, and acknowledge that there's a lot of deep thinking going on in the Southern rap, because
Right.
it's very pervasive if people actually listen to it, as you're well aware.
If they really process it, they'll know. You know, you could tell some kids, did this, I ran the bank, I ran off with millions. No one saw me. I'm spending it right now. I got a hot tub full of girls. Life is great. I'm gonna do it again. And that's just, it may be true to somebody somewhere, but there's a kid that might risk it all, not knowing the downside of thinking about going rob this bank. Or, you know what I'm saying? I just think that once you realize you got a voice, it's wise to give all aspects, and they can determine on themselves, you know what I'm saying? But that's crazy. Scarface, you hit it on the nose, Project Pat, they did it as well. So you hit it on the nose, wow.
Okay. So, given that was, you know, going from Big Boy to then to No Limit, what did being on that label show you about the game that helped you when you made the move to No Limit?
Being on Big Boy Records, what it allowed me to do on No Limit Records was continue to be a team player. I did some writing on Big Boy Records that I didn't get credit for on some things, but it just allowed me to go be a bigger team player, help out where I can, and it's all about making the big records. If we can all pitch in, let's do that. And if I got the marketing and promotion to get behind me, the people could determine on themselves whether they liked this artist or they liked the music, you know? And when I got No Limit, I don't know, bro. I guess I just blinked and went ape shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I never left the studio. Like, I never left the studio. I know when I got No Limit, I stayed up for 5 days straight.
Wow. On a regular basis?
No, just one time. When I first got there, I was up 5 days straight because I just didn't want to miss anything. Other cats left. When the producers come in, they were taking shifts. I was just sitting with the next producer. You know what I mean? I was just geeked up for thought of being full of fumes. You know, just, man, like I could change my tomorrow. I could help my mom financially. I could help us out. I could help my family. I could, you know what I mean? Like, I was working so much, I didn't even think about shit like transportation and shit. You ever been so consumed with your job and so young, you ain't even thinking about, you can't even picture what you having a car look like.
No, I know. Like when you're doing something and you're focused on it, the rest of the world goes away. I've been there myself, man. Like, I know.
I just lost it, man. P didn't mind me being there. P didn't mind me getting on a gang of songs. I felt like I just got in a draft of some shit, and he automatically got me on the field and was like, let's show these coaches what I got you for, you know? And that's what we did. And then I got a chance to see also doing a song and without having the internet all over it just yet, seeing what happens as soon as you release that shit, it gets to the world and they want it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That was powerful. You talking about messed me up? That was powerful. To get on a make them say and it's to the rest of the world now. You know what I'm saying? That messed me up. That totally messed me up. And it felt longer, but I only had like a 3-year run with No Limit Records.
Yeah.
I was recently on tour. I went on tour on the No Limit reunion tour, and this guy was he came. He sat down. We was having a drink, and he said, "Yeah, man. When did you get off No Limit?" And I said, "Like 99." He said, "What?" He said, "You gotta." He said, "Oh my fuck." He said, "That tells me what type of individual you are." This is somebody in 2020 probably thought I was still signed. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I was like, nah, I just didn't see the logic of talking. Like, I seen so many things go bad trying to explain yourself. And in my mind, it always plays out to if something is not right in the music business, like he who has the microphone is the only person they're gonna hear. So I just...
Or the one with the contract.
Oh, the one with, you're so right, the one with the contract. So I just never said nothing. I just like, I'm not even doing this to myself.
Right.
I'm not doing this to myself. I'm not going to do this. And but when I got to the limit, I just seen, man, Big Boy Records was already a change for me to talking about going from almost nothing to something in a rap career. But when I got to No Limit, I really enjoyed the family and orientation of being around people that wanted to work with each other, that genuinely enjoyed working, and having the variety of producers, that those guys were selfless in the production to let me put together those 2 #1 on Billboard projects that I released. That's On Their Family and Street Life. And to this date, man, not only do I feed myself off of it, I got connections and relationships with people through music, whether they're fans or just colleagues, that couldn't be replaced with money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll be forever grateful.
So speaking of relationships, when you were on Big Boy, did you work with or get friends with or already know like Mystical and KLC, or was that only at No Limit?
Yeah, believe it or not, I knew KL when I was on Big Boy, but it was more just for as him being a local DJ at a club called Club Rumors. KL was a DJ there, so I go see him from time to time with an artist I was working with by the name of Devious. And Devious was partnered up with a brother of mine by the name of Musa. So we go see KLC at, Rumors, you know what I'm saying? Reaching my vinyl, you heard me? And he'll play the joint, show us some love, and we'll get out of there. But I didn't meet KL for us to really, really chop it up until I started going to his basement what he was producing, and I might have went there with one person. And for some reason, I can't even recall when we was first introduced, but me and KLC was inseparable when it came to the studio. You know what I mean? Like, inseparable. I gotta be one of the main reasons why my projects were what they were. Because we just made so much big music with each other. We just fit hand in glove. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Womp Womp, Talking Like I Bring It, War for Reason, Waiting on God, Live Me Long, Break Something to Make. I mean, it's endless things. And I think we just were studio kids, man. We just love to impress each other and make something new and keep making something new. But man, KL started letting me come up there to No Limit Studios with him. Like, tell me, you know, come with me, you know. Mia had already introduced me to No Limit by putting me on her album, Me and Mac. She came and got me and Mac.
And that was Unlady.
Unladylike. She came and got me and Mac, and that messed me up. Mia was like, I want to put you and Mac on my album. I like, for real? Like, dope. She came, got me. I felt like I was meeting the mob's mom or something. She had this cat named Bush. Corey Bush came, got me, and came and got me, and I went and met at a grocery store. She was already shopping. You know what I'm saying? Like some mob shit, surreal. You know what I'm saying? I walk up to her. He's like, Mia, this is Fiend. She's like, hey, you know, how you doing? She's, you know, reaching for vegetables. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to kiss the ring or what. You know what I'm saying? So I'm walking and talking with her, such a beautiful spirit, such a beautiful soul. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you on my album. I just wanted to talk to you and let you know what the song is about. I'm gonna get you and Mac on the song. And we already working with Cain and Abel. So she's like, I get you on the song. So she got us on this joint, and it was dope. And next thing you know, I went out there. KL was like, you can come out there with me. KL realized I stayed around the corner from him. Crazy, right?
Location,
and when I was
location.
location. So picture this here. I used to walk to school every morning, right? Going to high school or going to middle school, and I see flyers on the street poles, you know, the light poles, right? Performing Mystical Mike. That was his name, Mystical Mike. You know what I'm saying? With DJ KLC, you know what I'm saying? 3-9 Posse. So I saw these guys' names, and I'd be rapping on my mom's porch or my buddy Damien porch. And the reality was, I didn't know they was around the corner. That, you know what I'm saying? So I see the flyers, and I tell KL all the time, driving to Baton Rouge, where the No Limit studio had resided. And I was like, bro, I did not know y'all was around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I did not know y'all was around the corner. So man, then K moved closer around the corner from me. He was maybe 3 blocks at first. Now he's like less than half a block.
Wow.
So every morning I had to pick him up. Every morning, or he'd pick me up. Well, he had a truck then. I didn't have transport. So I ride with him in his Suburban, man. We ride out there listening to music. We go to the record stores to get new CDs that came out.
Go to Peaches?
What? Peaches, Odyssey Records. You heard me? What's some other joints? We go in these stores and we get these new releases just to get a snare off a new Missy Elliott released album that Timberland left wide open. You know what I'm saying? We go get this B-side of a vinyl, something in blunts, with a cushion blunts with Dr. Dre or something.
Diamond, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, Diamond D?
No, ooh, wow, Diamond D digging in the crates, old boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would go get this type of stuff for a snare, for a kick.
Okay.
You know,
and
sample it.
Sipping Blunts and Tanqueray, that one?
Sipping Blunts and Tanqueray, thank you. Oh, wow, Soren, wow.
Yeah, that's
bro, that beat, I'm going to go find that instrumental and rap on that song just on GP, just for hip-hop. Just for hip-hop, you dig? But we go get this type of stuff. We go record shopping, finding all of these different bits and pieces of inspiration. And, you know, he'd have to build those sounds. He'd make his drums. He wasn't using the drums that came with the Roland 8. He wasn't using the sounds, that came with the Akai drum machine. He was making his own. I'm going to take this snare. I'm going to take this kick. I'm going to take this from Earth, Wind & Fire, this horn piece right here. You know what I'm saying? And that type of creativity gave No Limit this ill production sound that Percy Miller, Mystical, myself, Silk, C, Mia, Mama There, Peter, you know what I'm saying? Made us sound good on these tracks. And to this day, man, I guess you could call it like a cult fan base, because as much as it's known in the Tank and P and things like that, it's still underground as far as the publicity of, you know.
It's this will be much later in the interview, but this is it's like some of your other collaborators, the most known unknown, you know, with 3-6.
Right, the most known unknown, man. Wow. It's right.
You know, a lot of people obviously hated on No Limit, but a lot of people loved them, which is how how you guys were able to sell millions of albums. But when you were first getting into the studio with Unladylike and then working on Ghetto D would make them say, like sonically especially, what did you notice or feel that was different that led you know, okay, this is gonna be a whole different ballgame that we got?
How hard the beats was, and I couldn't stop myself from just expressing some shit. It was the sound, like the beats I got on Big Boy Records were dope, but they were good beats. And I felt like Mystical and other people got harder beats that were tailor-made, that were tailor-made for them, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to say the production. The production, it made me just want to, it made me just want to crank up. And that's what happened. And I had these other MCs that I constantly got in the booth with. That's one thing we didn't do a whole lot at Big Boy. Even though it was a bunch of rap artists and stuff, we got on some songs here and there, but we wasn't constantly on songs with each other.
Right.
No limit. You know, I got some freedom to get in there and just do what the fuck I wanted to do and work with.
You guys shout out Skullduggery early in the game too.
Yeah, Skullduggery, man. Skullduggery, very talented brother. Skullduggery, Trey 8. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of cats that were there before me. I guess they were just kind of finding their way. I just didn't need a studio, Soren.
Yeah.
I just didn't need a studio. You hear me? I always thought the safest place in the world for me to be is in the studio.
It's worked out well for you.
It worked out pretty okay. It worked out pretty okay. But that had to be the biggest thing, having so much access to all this hard body ass production. I think the producer, we had more of a one in-house producer as DJ Precise at Big Boy. And I didn't have access to all these super hard ass beats all the time.
It is a big difference. And I think one thing that people forget is that not only in rap, but in life, it usually takes a lot of people to make something big and successful. It's rare when it's one or two people.
It is. It's you gotta. It's like a dish, and it's this dish we gotta wait for, opposed to everybody pitching in, and we can eat this quicker. You know, it's like people come together to create heat, so we can turn this oven up to 550, opposed to we gotta keep this at 200 degrees, and you know what I mean. So you're right. You're so right.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.